of the revenue you make, right? And much like in a startup.
Yes, man, and let's get some of our old soldiers back out.
Musicians to be professional, they know how to talk.
To help them wake up happy. It's not about a rectangle at a price.
All right, y'all, tuned in for another episode of Bank That Radio Show. I am your host, Andreas, and I have Miss Jameka Whitten on Zoom with us, courtesy of Podmatch. So anybody out there, if y'all want to, get higher caliber guests for your podcast, or if your guest's been canceling on you like left and right, hit me up. I'll send you my affiliate link. But let me tell y'all a little bit about Miss Whitten. First of all, she is a journalist by trade, branding consultant, and publicist by choice. I love those words. I'm telling you, just so PR written. Ms. Jameka owns JSW Media Group, a boutique relations and brand management agency based in Charlotte, North Carolina, with a national clientele. She is an experienced public relations professional and business executive with 20 years of experience in new media, publishing, brand management, and strategic communications with strong ties to music, entertainment, sports, and fashion industries. Jameka is also a self-proclaimed social media enthusiast who works on several philanthropic causes nationwide. More importantly, she's been vegan since birth. Okay, we're going to have to talk about that. Written poetry in her spare time and loves to live life in color and to the fullest. She can be found lounging at the nearest coffee shop, wine bar, or vegan eatery on her phone in a hand and a book in the other.
Yep.
Welcome, Miss Whitten.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
It's always interesting to hear my bio being read because is that me? Really? Did I do all that?
I imagine you wrote that too, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, see? I love it. I can tell. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get this cleared up. How have you been vegan since birth when, your first memory probably is until about 5?
I have been vegan since birth because my parents were both vegan when I was conceived.
Oh, okay.
And then I was raised vegan after that. So
Okay,
I have never knowingly, I'll say it that way, knowingly had meat, dairy, seafood, eggs, any of that stuff.
I imagine that's very hard because back in the day, being vegan was, looked upon as weird and all that stuff. And the infrastructure supporting the vegan lifestyle wasn't there as it is now. And I'm like, it's gotten better, but it still needs more oomph to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just tell you that back in the day, we were making everything. Made everything from scratch, but I never really missed out on much because fortunately my mom was an incredible cook and she was very ahead of her time. So she literally took nursing school and nutrition classes. Like she finished nursing school. She just went and took some of the classes because she wanted to make sure that when she was carrying me, she was getting all the right nutrition. She what she needed to do. And then once I was born, being able to put food, the right foods together to get all of the essential amino acids and your protein sources and all of those good things and combining foods in the right way to get those nutrients. We were told, this is obviously stories I was told, but, the doctors were not very optimistic that she would carry me well, that I would survive just because she was on a vegan diet. Because, this is back in the 70s. So, yeah, the doctors were not very open when it came to alternative lifestyles in terms of your diet. So, and then we're also, Black folks in the South. That's what's going on. And, with not much money. So mom is really battling not having those resources to just tell the doctors to go where they can go and kiss what they could kiss. Even though she kind of did that anyway. But the biggest thing is they said that, my hair wouldn't grow. I wouldn't wouldn't be smart. I would probably have developmental issues. Nails wouldn't grow, like all these kinds of things. Which is interesting. Just for the record, I am 5'8", which is considered pretty tall for a woman, or at least, decently tall. And I definitely don't look like I've been missing any meals. I'm one of those curvy vegans because I like pasta and potatoes, but that's a whole nother.
Yeah. Okay. Can we see your shirt?
It's
sarcasm, is it?
Okay, I'm a sarcasm.
Isn't an attitude, it's an art. I love it. Thought you guys gonna have fun. Okay, let me throw a number out there.
Okay.
1977.
I was 1.
Oh, so I was close.
You were close, yes.
Oh, see, I'm pretty good at, I'm saying, this stuff. I'm right behind you in 81. So, hey, I'm sure we share a lot of the same, being born in different locations. I'm sure we share a lot of the same morals and things of that nature.
Absolutely. Yep. 1976 bicentennial year. And I'm gonna throw it out there, April, just in case.
It is. Okay. What day in April?
April 26th. That makes me a Taurus.
You're Taurus.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
No. The only reason I do that is because I'm April 13th.
Oh, you're Aries.
Yes. See, I just saw you.
I know.
We butt heads a little bit, what I'm saying? We're just strong-minded,
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I love it. But nonetheless, an April baby, though.
April babies are special.
Yes, we are.
We are.
So let's talk about getting into journalism, and then going and building your own boutique public relations and brand management, and being in all of these wonderful industries that a lot of people don't even understand.
Ooh, I mean, what do you want to know? Like, the journey was interesting, to say the least. I started off in journalism school. So I went to Northwestern University, has one of the top journalism schools in the country.
Is that the purple and white?
Purple and white, yeah.
Okay.
Right outside of Chicago in Evanston, Illinois. So, that in itself was a culture shock, going from Richmond, Virginia. Now, I'm from Charlotte, but I grew up in Richmond. So I am one of those lucky people who has 2 hometowns that I claim. And so going from Richmond, Virginia, then hitting Northwestern was interesting. I was prepared mentally, but it was still a whole new world. And I stayed in J school for a while, but then at the end, I switched over to communication studies because I wanted a more, how do I put it? Just a more broad view of what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to be in entertainment. I knew that I wanted to tell stories, but I didn't know how yet. And I wasn't 100% that I wanted to be a reporter. I loved it. I loved being on camera as well as behind the camera, even though I was just telling the story the other day about how I was discouraged by some folks. I won't name names, but I was discouraged while I was in school from being on camera because they said, well, you're very ethnic and you have locks. I've also had locks my whole life. So
you're just too black. You're not whitewashed enough.
Right. You're going to have to cut your hair and you're going to have to straighten it. And, for these smaller markets for you to be palatable to them. And I said, no, that's not happening. And so I was discouraged a bit. I think that's pretty much what really pushed me towards looking at alternatives for major. But I was in journalism school for so long. By the time I switched over to communication studies, when I graduated, I still graduated with a concentration in broadcast journalism. So that's why I did my super senior year. I did 5 years because I did this was like the best thing ever though. When I switched my major, because I was about to graduate, that whole extra year that I did was all beautiful electives. It was, I didn't have to do any of the boring stuff that you have to do. gotten that out of the way already, I got to take classes about sociology and psychology and
Oh,
things.
that was interesting. I took that class, study of people.
Yes, when you study people, and that was the core of comm studies. And I knew that whatever I did had to revolve around people. And so that's why I was really drawn to public relations, but I didn't start there. So I still couldn't get rid of it get rid of that telling stories from a journalistic point of view. So when I got out of school, I was involved in an independent hip hop publication here in Charlotte and was editor-in-chief of that. It was called The Underground Joint. We're just gonna leave it there, which was really interesting. It was okay. So I'm almost right out of school. This indie record label that was here in Charlotte at the time, they had started their own magazine, but they had no idea how to do it. Mind you, I just graduated. I don't know how to do it either.
Exactly. But they're looking to you like, saying as hey, take us down this road.
Yeah. So they were like, you want to be editor-in-chief? I'm like, my first gig out the box. Okay.
Yeah.
So I never say no to opportunities. Even if I don't want to do it, better believe I'm trying to figure that out and figure out how to do it. And I feel that I'm intelligent enough that I can learn what I need to learn and do it well. That might be a little bit cocky, and I'm usually not that cocky, but for some reason on this podcast, I'm just, feeling real free. I guess it's you. I don't know.
Well, I have been doing this a long time, and, I let people tell their stories.
Excellent. That, I feel that very deeply. I do. And so, I started off doing that, and then I moved on to co-found an arts and culture publication with someone that I had met while we were doing the Underground Joint. And we wanted something that was a little bit more refined, more arts and culture related to the whole, not just hip hop community. And so we started that, and we did two Black women doing a print publication in Charlotte, North Carolina with no corporate backing. We were hustling, to put this thing together. And it was great. It was called SOTAC, State of the Arts and Culture Magazine. And that.
Okay. So can we dive into that a little bit then?
Yeah.
So as far as you saying hustling and stuff, you're getting it out the mud and all that, what were some of the things that y'all were doing to attract revenue to be able to, keep the publication going?
Well, my business partner at the time, she actually was adulting at a young age. So she had a really good job. I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. So what we did is we kind of split up the duties. So she was putting what she could from her day job where she was making really good money. And I was hitting the pavement. I was talking to everybody I could think of and schmoozing and going to networking events and telling everybody I could and saying this was the best thing ever and you need to jump on now. And because at the time we were very innovative and we were more inclusive than some of the other publications that were in Charlotte, everybody who had been historically overlooked were like, this is a great advertising opportunity. And, we were young and bubbly and out there, and people wanted to be involved. They were just like, oh, you're so nice. So I really leaned into my personality because essentially, as we know, people do business with people they like.
Yes.
So
I've been telling people that
people do
with people they like.
Yes. And I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's human nature, right? So you have to make yourself as available as you can while staying authentic. So that's pretty much what I did. We held events, we sold that advertising, we did subscriptions. I mean, anything you could think of, negotiation with the printers to figure out how we get the best price. We had a lot of people working for coins, but we had a lot of people working for free. So it was just like, hey, you want to get your name out there? We got you. You want to get a byline article, your first or second? We got you. So both of us were very adept at editing and pretty anal when it came to the product that we were putting out. So it was a superior product for what we were doing, and nobody could believe that it was independent.
How long did that last?
a good 4 solid years. It probably would have been longer, but we both decided we wanted to do other things.
So you just let it die off?
She kept it going digitally for another few years,
Mm-hmm.
And did it more of events oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Started doing a digital publication, a newsletter, and then
Mm-hmm.
because we started like this really cool event series here in Charlotte,
Mm-hmm.
where it was like Zotac soirees, and it was like art themed with like really cool music, live music, and fashion, and all of the things of art. And it was really good. Like, no love lost, but at that point, I think I was enrolling in a grad school. I think we did grad school, and I also needed steady money because,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I needed to eat. And so I started exploring what I really wanted to do. I knew that entrepreneurship was always the
Mm-hmm.
path. So, but I needed a corporate job to fund my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I ventured out and started at the bank. I did a couple of the banks here. And also, probably the best job that I ever did, or the best decision I ever made, was getting involved with ESPN. So I got that ESPN gig, and hopefully they're not listening, but I definitely worked my entrepreneurial stuff the whole time.
I know a young lady that's in she was in Connecticut, but then she moved somewhere else. But she's done journalism that way, and worked at ESPN and like a few other networks and stuff. Now she's doing something else, launched a podcast and all that, and she's from here, which is great because it goes and shows people that it doesn't matter where you're from. You can always go, and as long as you take advantage of opportunities, take advantage of them. But then also in entrepreneurship, I'm like, you got to do that. I remember when I was at let's see here, my college jobs. So I started Banked Out Entertainment, which was a music promotions company. So I just promoted the music. Yeah, didn't make the music, nothing like that. Just helped artists promote it, indie artists, and which it was like ahead of its time. But I would do compilations to get the name out and stuff like that. And I press them up myself, do the artwork, all that stuff. I was dropping them in the bags at people when they were shopping at Old Navy because I was a cashier.
I love that.
Yeah, no. Hey, you listen to rap, you listen to R&B, because you don't want to assume. Oh yeah, hey, I got this. Slide them in there, business cards and all.
Love it. Love it. You do what you got to do. You do what you have to do. And that's part of like that. I think that's our generation though, too, right? Like that's that hustle by any means. It's, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a good work-life balance, because now I've learned how to take more advantage. I love sleep now. When I was younger, I thought it was a foreign concept to sleep because I was up and I was working and I was, I was hitting the night spots, and, because I did a lot of stuff with music as well. So, and even now I manage a couple of I manage artists on the side, and oh goodness, the management thing, talent management is something a whole. I don't even want to talk about that today.
Well, hey, I can get into it with you because I've managed artists before. So the fact that you gave that same type of sigh and release, I already know what you're talking about.
It's
they
beautiful.
get inside their heads.
They do. It's beautiful, but it's also whew.
Takes way more than what managers are compensated for and credited to.
That last part.
Yeah, at the end of the day, because the artist is a product, they get the shine and notoriety. And they ain't out here screaming, oh man, I had this whole team behind me and this manager with the vision and stuff to help me get to the level that I was, what I'm saying, trying to get to. Because again, like and I tell artists this all the time. What is it? I think the right side is the creative side, left side is the logical side, something like that. If I'm correct in that, whichever sphere of the brain, I'm like, they're working on that predominant side of creativity all the time and forgetting that it's the other side that helps. Like the industry needs both. But I'm like, one has to appreciate the other. And some of them, oh my goodness, you get them to a situation where they just start getting popping in their own city and stuff, and they start feeling themselves. And then they start trying to flip that on you. Like, hold up now.
Who you talking to?
Exactly.
Who you talking to?
This is the first who put you out. I'm like, stop that before it all just crumbles.
But you know what's funny is I've
Mhm.
had that not only with artists, I've had those types of conversations with a lot of the indie labels that I've
Mhm.
worked with those CEOs of those indie labels, because I've had encounters with folks who have been in the industry for a while and they've got some good accolades, right?
Mhm.
But the way that they try to talk to you,
Mhm.
and I'm the one who's bringing my talents and time to the table for not the right amount of compensation, and you're going to talk to
Mhm.
me sideways. No, that's not how this is going. I think it's because, and here I'll share a little bit about
Mhm.
me. I think it's because I am Southern, even though I don't have the accent,
Mhm.
but I can be sweet in conversation,
Mhm.
nice. And I also have dimples. And I
Mhm.
think it's because of the dimples that people think that they can say whatever they want to me.
Mhm.
And then they become shocked
Mhm.
when I respond in kind. And I
Mhm.
actually had this one I'm not extremely proud of this moment, but I was getting into it with an exec. He's the industry
Mhm.
old head from the industry. His
Mhm.
accolades look like a 90s R&B playlist, basically,
Okay.
on the production side.
Mhm.
And he had started the label, and we were having a really heated discussion about direction and something that I was talking about, like some branding initiatives or something. And this man spoke to me in a way that he should not have. And before I knew it, I just said, do not let the heels and the dimples fool you. I will walk to New York and have a conversation with you if I need to. The entire conference call just went silent.
Well, sometimes people get too comfortable with their accolades and all that. Because I got my own little accolades down here, and I don't ever let that, what I'm saying, dictate the flow of conversation, because I love meeting new people and I love seeing like synergy, because I know one person cannot achieve these huge momentous dreams, or what they call them, the big, hairy, audacious goals.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a collective and everyone playing their role within that collective. And I'm like, who am I to sit there and be like, because I'm like, people try to treat me that way or whatever, but I don't like really accept it. Now if they get, what I'm saying, if they start getting crazy, then I start saying stuff. But for the most part, I'm like, look, I'm just trying to, what I'm saying, help. And
Mm-hmm.
then if it's not my vision and dream and all that stuff or whatever, then I'll just play my role within their vision and stuff like that, where I can fit in. But
Which is
people,
what you're supposed to do. That's how it's
yeah.
supposed to flow. And I think for me, and I've heard this from other people, like, a lot of the leadership stuff or whatever that you'll read out there. They said if you are the smartest in the person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about collaboration. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I even build my internal team. So I love how I've talked about all this stuff and never even told you how I actually built JSW. But I'm just like, yeah, y'all just look it up, just Google it, be fine.
Well, hey, we was actually about to lead into that, like how'd you land your first client? How'd you build your business?
All of the good questions. I knew that they were coming. Yeah, so I just got sick of working for other people,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. And I've been doing JSW on the side since 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2014,
Mm-hmm.
after being let go of an agency,
Mm-hmm.
I had left ESPN because I wanted to do something different
Mm-hmm.
and joined this agency in the area. And let me just tell you, agency life, the way that they had it was
Mm-hmm.
not,
Mm-hmm.
didn't like the way that my coworkers were talking to me, those who were not of the same ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
And that had been the first time that I had dealt with people who that's the first time I had dealt with folks in a corporate culture where you could feel the microaggressions all the
Mm-hmm.
time. And how my personality is, I was calling people out and they didn't like that very much.
Yeah, because you're a disruptor.
A little bit. And,
A little bit.
you know,
Okay.
but listen, I don't know if ops or feds are listening. Like, I gotta be careful. So yeah, just a little bit of a disruptor. I may or may not be on somebody's list. I'm just saying. We're just gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it cute. We're just gonna keep it cute. But that experience when they called me into the office, I was about ready, and I knew already. Like, let me just tell you, I had already cleared up my computer. I had forwarded all the emails, all the contacts. I already knew coming. Got into the office, and then the BS reason that they gave me was, neither here nor there. But I remember there being such a huge sense of relief, but it was also a really high paying job for me. So I remember getting into the car because I was commuting at the time, and I called my mom, and I was like, "Mom, they let me go." And she goes, "Good. I am cooking your favorite meal. Hurry up and get back. Let's chat. And you need to be working for yourself anyway. I'm so glad that you finally are being pushed in the direction that God had put put that path in front of you so long ago anyway. You can't be afraid." And so that encouragement was incredible. And let me just tell you how everything works. If I had not been let go and decided to do JSW full time at that point, I would have missed an incredible year with my mom. And because she was diagnosed with cancer in 2015.
Okay.
I had gone, solo pretty much in 2014 and had just gotten my sea legs. Had I not had the flexibility to be able to spend she ended up passing away in 2016. If I hadn't had that flexibility, be able to be with her every day and take her to the doctor and go on trips and just I would have missed all of that because I would have been working and stressed and not have the freedom and the flexibility to work, beside her while she's getting chemo treatments from my laptop.
Yeah.
And that meant more than $100,000 plus job.
I'm glad you had that experience prior to her passing.
Oh yeah, that's the homie right there. That was like, mom is the fortunately, because this is probably the first or second year that I've been able to tell the story without like choking up completely. And I know that like healing is happening, right? Because grief is one of those things that it's just how you deal with grief over time. It's not something that goes away. And I don't think that people who haven't experienced grief understand that it's like a working document. It's
a living, breathing thing.
Yes, it really is. And the more that you felt and loved someone, the bigger that hole is that you have to fill with either making sure that you are doing things to honor their memory, or for me, it's just making sure that I was my mother's only child. I have siblings, but I was my mom's only child. So I'm just trying to fulfill that legacy and make sure that I'm on the path that we both talked about.
So, I love that. And
that's my push. That's my passion.
Yeah. And I can see where, I'm saying, you tie that into your company, and to make sure that the company still thrives, because not only is it your legacy, it's hers too, because she encouraged you to go down that path.
She did.
So it has an emotional connection.
Oh, most definitely. One thing she told me that she wished in her life was different. She said the only thing that she wished is that she had not given away so many of her gems for free.
Yeah.
And she did not want me to fall into that same, because she could see that I like to help folks overextend. And, it's just part of my personality.
Yeah.
But one thing that I have been better about is setting boundaries. And yes, I am worthy enough for you to spend X, Y, and Z on these services. And no, we can't have coffee and you can pick my brain. No, we can have coffee and I can have a really general conversation, but you are not picking my brain.
Yeah.
And that's a
I feel
consultation.
you. Yeah, no, I feel you on that, because I had to go through that same process, and like I'm like we acquire knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
we know that it works, and
Mm-hmm.
we want to everyone else to succeed as well. And sometimes we overextend ourselves, and I had to learn that too. It was a difficult transition, and sometimes I'm still doing that because with newbies, and I see the potential, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, and I'm like,
Oh, not
I
that
got.
potential, not the P word. Oh no. It gets you every time.
It does, and I'm like, yeah, I just don't understand what I can do with you know what I'm saying, what you have. So it's like, yeah, I had to like step back or whatever to the point to where even with my platform, I started charging people for interviews because this month in was it 6 days? Today's the third. Well, I will have 8 years of this and built up an organic audience, authentic and is international. And even in the area where I am, I'm south of Atlanta. I'm in Macon, Georgia. I've made a name for myself and for this business, and that has, as you know, it your name extends to other people when you bring them into your world,
Yeah.
and that gives them credibility, even if everybody else hasn't done anything, because you've been so consistent that it naturally lends to whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some instances where, people were canceling and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? Y'all don't appreciate everything I do. I'm like, I got a studio, I got equipment, I got my own labor, I got bills to pay. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a business model for me because I do it full time.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all gonna have to respect it. So then I started raising the prices too. And,
Yes.
well,
Yeah.
they'll like that.
Oh, not at all. Please. I just did another round of raising the prices for 2024.
Uh-huh.
Like, hold up. Oh, and I started charging for discovery calls.
Mm.
That was the best thing I ever did. And
Mm-hmm.
now I don't charge a lot for a discovery call.
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes, give me $25, you good. But
Mm-hmm.
you are not able to schedule
Mm-hmm.
until you have paid that. And no, it's not refundable. If
Mm-hmm.
you miss your meeting, you just miss the meeting and we'll reschedule. But if we don't reschedule, then I don't
Yeah.
know what to tell you.
So tell people what a discovery call is and what do they get out of it?
So a discovery call is when you want to figure out if you want to work with me or if you want to work with a publicist or,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll sit
Mm-hmm.
there and we'll talk about my services, but we'll talk about your project
Mm-hmm.
or your brand and what you're trying to accomplish. And then we'll ascertain if there's synergy, if there's a vibe, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't take every client.
Yep.
I
I
don't.
love that.
Not money hungry in that sense. I will hustle on the side if I need to before I take a client that's going to give me a headache
Mm-hmm.
or someone who their values don't align with
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to do because I'm very specific about that. You don't have to be faith-based, but you can't be out here little Nas X in it either with these images and I'm gonna have to try
I
to
love it.
do some communication, some crisis communications on. No,
Uh,
it's not gonna happen. And if you can't be comfortable with me talking about faith and where
mm-hmm.
I land on that on a regular basis, then it's not going to be a good fit. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually okay. Not
Mm-hmm.
every person is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I work with people who I know are going to listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not do everything I say because this is not a dictatorship, even though
Mm-hmm.
that would make life easier for you.
Yeah.
But
Hey, can I interrupt real quick?
yeah.
I made a post. It was hilarious at the beginning of the year, and I told all the independent artists, like they be following my stuff or whatever, and some of them will comment, some of them just won't, and I know it, but they'll say stuff when they see me in person. I said, y'all go out here, and I'm paraphrasing my own stuff. I said, you go out here in order to, let's see, accomplish your musical goals. One, you need to listen to me, and then two, you need to do what I say.
Feel that though, because yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
feel
So I definitely understand the discovery call and why that needs to be done, and I get it. People's time is valuable. And with your skill set and what you've been able to do, and having national clientele and all that, I'm like they should just want to like beat down the door just to sit there and listen, even if they didn't say anything. They should just listen. But you know, again, people don't realize what it takes to really accomplish the type of goals that they have. Their goals are too big for their budget, first of all.
Always.
Yeah, and that's why they get discouraged and stuff. But let's get into, you started your agency. How did you land your first client?
Oh, this is a good one. So, back in the day, many moons ago, about 150 pounds ago or so, I was, I, I modeled.
Hilarious.
This was like in my 20s because I was just bored and wanted something to do. It was fun. And it got me a chance to like go back and forth and work with different photographers in New York. So I worked with this young lady in Brooklyn, Janine Addison, and Jan is dope photographer. And you know, we worked together a lot and we became friends. So one day she hits me up and she's just like, yo, Mika, I really want to work with this agency. Can you call? Or like it was some like big modeling agency or something. And she was like, can you call and act like you're my publicist and set this up for me? I was like, really? Okay, let me figure this out. I literally called this place. And she was in New York at the time. I'm still in Charlotte. I called and I finagled all this stuff and got her what she needed and was just like, yes, I'm representing Draco Photography, blah, 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 blah. That was just in my professional voice. And it worked. And the adrenaline rush of doing that was really cool. So I was like, I let it go for a second. I was like, you know, I don't know. Because I was still at that point, still doing a lot of editorial work, freelance writing and all that kind of thing. And as well as the modeling stuff. The modeling stuff I knew wasn't going to go anywhere. That was more for me. Other people I was seeing was taking it super serious. And I was like, that's great. Not for me. Just give me a couple of commercial stuff and, you know, I got pictures and I'm okay. I'm okay with that. But it really happened for me when I was still working with the magazine that I had started, because I kept getting all of these pitches from people. Like artists would be like, yo, I need to be in your magazine, or you know, business people or whatever. And I kept remembering how horribly these pitches were written and presented. And I'm just like, yo, you are so talented, but your delivery is horrible. So I started thinking, maybe I should be on the other side. Maybe I need to help these people get their voices heard in a way that is more polished and professional so people will take notice. And because I had so many connects on the editorial side, you know, from going to Northwestern, half of my classmates are, you know, pretty big in the journalism world right now, right? So like I can call them, well, hopefully they'll pick up still. I can call them and say, hey, can I get this interview, or even get advice on what kind of pitches would you like to receive? How do I need to package up someone to make you want to open the email or write about them or whatever?
It's those little things like that people don't even think about. And I'm like, man, y'all missing the game.
Yo, seriously, like it's just packaging is so important. I think nowadays people get a little bit more because of the advance of social media. Like, you know, how strong image is and can be. And everybody talks about their brand, but without the knowledge of what branding actually is. But that's a whole nother consultation for another day.
It is.
But that's really how I got started. I started thinking, you know, I could really be on the other side and help some people. And I started off in fashion PR because that's what I was comfortable with, because I already knew a lot of photographers and the agencies and stuff, because I was doing some freelance modeling. So it just made sense. And I loved fashion show production. So I started doing fashion shows, and it just kind of went from there. Then I dipped into music, and a lot of the people that I worked with the arts and culture magazine kind of knocked on the door and said, hey, can you represent us? And I've been with some of my clients for like 10, 15 years because I knew them from back in the day, or I booked them gigs, or, you know, all sorts of stuff. Like, especially in the Charlotte area, it's very close knit. You know, it can be cliquish, but because I was able to float to a large group of like different groups easily, because I didn't really claim one, I wasn't claiming one set, like, oh yeah, my people. So I switched it up a little bit. So I know a lot of people, and a lot of people know who I am. And so it makes it easier. Because I didn't want to say I know a lot of people, because I am one of those folks, and I'm just going to be real right here, that is super polite in public when you come up to me and you can say that we met or whatever, and I'll be like, yes, oh my goodness, so great to see. I have no clue who these people are.
Yeah, no, I get that.
No idea whatsoever. It just happened to me the other day. This woman came to me and she was like, oh, we used to be at such and such together. It was so great to see you, and blah, blah. I'm like, yes, no. If somebody put a gun in my head, I would not be able to tell you who this woman was. Like, sorry to this woman. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. And people,
in your profession, you do meet a lot of people, and there's no way that your brain can like just retain everything, especially if it's on like one-offs or whatever, or it's at different events where there's a lot of people and a lot of stuff happening at that time. I get that a lot too.
I mean, it's just hard because I'm walking around here, like my hair is up right now, but like I'm walking around with 4 or 5 foot locks, and people, they recognize me. They're just like, yeah, the one with the hair. Side note, I'm so glad so many more people have locks, even if they're faux locks and stuff like that. So I'm not just like the only one walking around with natural hair. It's very encouraging.
Yeah.
It's to see now that I am just not the only one eating vegan food and walking around with natural hair. Yet I am not a hippie. Like, I'm just a huge like dichotomy of things. Like, it's not, people always think that I'm just like burning incense and candles. I do, but that's not the totality of me. I'm much more comfortable drinking a glass of champagne and sitting in a lounge with some heels on.
Yeah.
But
so let me ask you this. Did you get to see the uprise of J. Cole and the baby coming from North Carolina?
I did. It was interesting kind of seeing that evolution.
That's what's up. I love that. So what is like one of the things you learned about entrepreneurship that you didn't know going in that like really stood out to you?
Expensive.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship is expensive. All the paperwork, the tax, self-employment taxes. Somebody needs to be shot, because that right there is just wrong. I remember the first time that I made the mistake of giving those people my bank account information, and for just waking up one morning and that entire amount, not the payments now, but the entire amount for the year, being taken out at one time. After I cried and had tears come out for like 30 seconds, I was good, but it's just the expense of it all. Also, I wish I had known. I really bootstrapped, right? I did mine as a necessity. I didn't do the research on funding that I noticed that a lot of other people had access to. So it's also about access, right? In school, they teach you about business, but they don't necessarily teach you about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, they don't.
Right. So it's like, what else can I do other than a traditional loan? What are some funding sources? Let's talk about VCs. Let's talk about first, what's the first round? What's the second round? These types of things. What denotes an actual startup? Can you, do you need a co-founder? Do you, all sorts of stuff, because they don't talk about that. They think of that only with the tech industry. Like, if you're part of that, but it can be applicable in any business that you just have to be educated and throw yourself in there. So like, it was a mass education for me. The fact that I am still standing, and I tell people success to me is that I am still in my house, and I still have a car. I eat well, and there's still champagne I can buy occasionally without going. And that is success. And being able to like throw gigs to my friends and colleagues, and having contractors on the team that I can pay, or either pay well or present opportunities for them to make their own money.
Yeah.
Is really cool for me. And I've got a really dedicated team and who have been with me through no money, through windfalls, through you're getting payment or perks and you just gonna get the perks today, you know, and they you know,
I don't think people realize, it's some of these industries aren't as cash heavy as they make them look.
no, 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 no. I think that's why, particularly like since 2020, I'll say that I've been doing more nonprofit and small business work than work with artists. I still have my, my roster of artists that I work with, but they've basically been grandfathered in. About, I don't know about new artists coming in.
Yeah, see, I was gonna ask about that too.
It just depends on who it is. It has to be somebody special.
Okay.
It has to be
But
somebody.
they can't just be starting out though. They have to have some type of foundation, right?
Some kind of momentum going. I just don't have it in me. Start from scratch with an artist again. We got to be at least the mid-level.
Yeah.
You don't put some kind of budget aside. You know what it takes for the market. You know that ads aren't free. You know you need to boost your social media presence. It's not just about, how many posts you can put up. It's all got to be monetized now. You just need you to have a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah. And you can work with that.
I can work with a little bit of knowledge. I can't work with, I want to be a star tomorrow and you're not doing enough work. And because then they'll get cut. Then they're going to make me come all the way out of character. And then I got to cut people out. Then I got to go repent for that. Go back to church. It's too much. It's too much.
Which industries do you prefer the most now when, because you have a lot of different industries you represent?
Fashion, first love. Fashion and beauty, always fun. I love film. That's and then anything vegan related, honestly. The culinary arts, I used to rep vegan chef for a really long time. We were together for a good solid 3 years, and I really helped. I don't know if this person will ever admit it, but I really helped with building their brand, and they're doing super well right now. So even though we don't work together anymore, I see my legacy on the internet and television all the time because I'm like, I have
what's her name? Slutty Vegan. Has she made her way up there yet?
Who has Slutty? I call her Slutty. No, she has come up. She has come up. I think I want to say I heard rumors that she's gonna have a brick and mortar here.
Okay, I know she's out there expanding at a rapid rate. I just want to make sure she's able to sustain that.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think she's got she has diversified so much because she has products in the stores. She's got the book, I believe, as well as the franchises. So I think she's doing all right.
Yeah. I know the lines of, they sold out stuff. And like I said, I'm only an hour and a half away from Atlanta. So, it's not hard for stuff to go on up there where we hear about it down here and travel up there and all that stuff, whatever.
Yeah, Pinky is cool. Pinky is cool. I haven't had the chance to meet her in person yet, but she's dope. She drops gems, business gems on her Instagram page almost weekly. And she's really good. I'm very proud of what she's accomplished. It's nice to see her kind of building an empire.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely love that. So let's see. Is there anything that we missed? Like I know we went all around the world.
We went all the way around the world, and I'm sure there's some stuff that we missed. But I don't know because you're so calming that I might share stuff that I'm not supposed to share. So for all purposes, I'm gonna say we probably hit everything that we needed to hit.
Okay, you're putting up the caution sign.
To talk about Stylish Vegan a little bit. That's my other brand.
You said Stylish Vegan?
Yes, called the Stylish Vegan. It is lifestyle as I see it from my perspective. It's vegan lifestyle from my perspective. So it's like food, culture, lifestyle. So I started it pretty much just because number one, I like things. I think I like things to look pretty. I like things to be a certain way, hence the stylish part, and that's just like a throwback to my fashion roots and all. And I wanted to have something that was not your tradition. Like people think about veganism and they think about people hitting them over the head with knowledge all the time and just like you shouldn't do this, this, and this, and being very aggressive. And we are well, some of us are kind of haughty, but the misconceptions and the biases that we think that we're better than everyone else and that you should be doing this and that we're going to yell at everybody because of what they're eating. And I just wanted to show us as full individuals and real people who go and just do things. Yes, we go to parties and we listen to music. And for me, like, yes, I have a nice cocktail and I like this, and just showing it us as a whole, like holistically, and giving a additional voice to what Black veganism looks like in the South.
I like that. So what can people expect from you in 2024?
Ooh, I am working on a book.
Okay.
I'm outlining it right now. So hopefully, I don't know if there's any publishers listening. Hi, my name is Jameka and I need a publisher.
I know a few of them down here.
Okay.
Are you open to working with not big, but smaller boutique publishers?
Listen, I am open to possibilities right now because I know, I've worked with authors in the past. So now I'm kind of turning the lens on myself. So that's going to be interesting. But 2024, I'm kind of finishing that up. Also, more speaking engagements. I'm getting out from behind the keyboard and from behind the camera a little bit and going out front more and working on my own personal brand in addition to those of my clients. I've been told, basically hit over the head by my team that yes, you do a lot behind the scenes, but people need to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
Well, and so that's why I'm on the podcast and like why I joined all of these different outlets to get my voice heard a little bit more because I'm being forced to.
Yeah. I get this. So how many interviews have you, well, I'm not forcing you to do anything, but how many interviews have
my
you
arm is twisted, y'all. Y'all just can't see it. Behind the scenes, my arm is twisted. It's horrible.
how many interviews have you done thus far?
This will be from that particular platform, it'll be 4 right now this year.
And how's it been working out for you so far?
Good. I like talking to people.
See?
I like chatting. I like sharing stories. I'm a podcaster myself. I just have to get back on it. I have a vegan podcast. So
was that in your hold on? See, you did not put that in your thinking.
Well, it's kind of in the longer bio that I did send.
So you gave us the abbreviated version.
Maybe.
Yeah, to send me the link so I can check it out. I like listening to other podcast hosts' podcasts. It's a community of us out there.
It
and
is.
I think, what I'm saying? What is it? We've been doing this for so long. One, I just started with just audio first and built up. So I think people forget that there's stages to it. Now it's to me, look at it more as a network in a production house. Multi-tiered. I tell people it's a multi-tiered platform now. It's not just, me talking in interviews, also producing shows, coming up with new show concepts, putting other people on, editing their stuff, going to different locations. Like tomorrow, I got to go and film some stuff for a fashion show that's going to happen on the 24th, and they want me to film their practice and walkthroughs and all that. So I'm going to do that so it could be included when they run the Facebook Live on the 24th, and it'll be included in there and entertain people while the whole production of fashion is going on. The runway, because it's for kids and stuff like that. So I'm like, I normally do stuff for kids. I ain't gonna.
Oh, you're gonna do it for the kids? I love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it for the kids. I like mentoring kids and stuff. I actually taught a few podcast classes to kids, so just let them know that they can like you said, new media. And that's what I position mine as. I tell people, like, I got flyers and stuff talking about this is the new media. So you should understand it from the whole everything realm of what goes into that, the journalist points, the whole production aspect of it, not just getting in front of a camera and just rambling on and just talking nonsense and all that stuff, forming clear, concise, pieces of content where people want to watch it and they're educated and entertained at the same time. But,
Right.
all this trendy stuff that people are doing and all this bashing and all that stuff, I'm like, yeah, y'all not gonna last. It's no
No.
longer the days of, you know, Wendy Williams and, Charlamagne back in the day. It's no longer that anymore.
Yeah.
People are looking for, enlightenment and it being presented to them in a way that where, they can understand it and it's not filled with all this drama. Because I'm like, I understand drama sales, yeah, yada, yada, yada. But
But it doesn't sustain.
exactly.
Same.
Because all the shows that you see with drama have to be flipped again and turned into something new.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was going to sustain, it would have sustained already, but it doesn't. And that's why it has to be flipped into something new. All these reality shows are nothing but the same thing, just rebranded. That's like producing content and all that stuff. I can't even watch TV anymore the same way. Because I'm like, ugh,
Oh
it
yeah,
just
it's
sucks.
ruined for you.
It
It's
is.
It is. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I am with what because I've been dabbling more into film.
Mm-hmm.
I help with a film festival up here in Charlotte in the fall, and just from doing that for so many years, just looking at film, I look at it differently. I'm really like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so invested. I go in and I'm just like, I'm thinking about the story. I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, cinematography and this. Everybody's like, can we just watch it from beginning to end without the extra commentary? I'm like, but you don't understand.
Yeah, they don't. Like I literally have to do that. I have to just stop talking when I'm watching stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So other people can enjoy it. And I'm like, y'all don't get it. Once you do something and you go back and watch what's produced from the craft, because you're doing it, it ruins it and you can't take that innocence back.
No,
And I'm
no.
like, I'm
Once
just
you see
ruined for you.
behind the veil,
Mm-hmm.
behind the veil, oh,
I done seen the wizard in. But let everybody know how can they reach you? They need consultation, discovery calls, things of that nature, or where they need to be directed.
okay, well, they can go to jswmediagroup.com and go to the contact us page. You can learn about all the things that we do and set up that discovery call, or just like skip the discovery call and be like, I just need a full on consultation. You can book it right there too. We offer PR consultations, even business consultations, and brand management. I got some really dope people on this team who do a great job with branding and digital marketing. Let's see what else. But if you want to talk to me, you want to chat personally, I have an Instagram page that I am quite active on. Two of them, in fact, well, three technically, but whatever. So we'll talk about the two. There's at Jameka Shamae, that's JAMEKASHAMAE, which is my first and middle name. That's the S in JSW. Or you could check out my vegans page, which is stylish_vegan. And that's on all the platforms.
That's what's up. Thank you, Jameka, for, having this fantastic conversation. I think I've talked to you probably are the guest that I've talked to the longest. I normally do about 30 minutes and cut it off, but I've enjoyed the conversation so much that I couldn't just do that.
I have a tendency to ramble, and be really random and go in all kinds of different directions, but you flow with me, so I appreciate that.
Exactly. So everybody out there, y'all make sure y'all go and follow, support, get those discovery calls, and then hey, just book that consultation. Pay people what they're worth. Don't be scared of it. It's very valuable, and you will get the quality. I can feel it through the screen. You're going to get the quality that you're paying for. As always, y'all can always support Baked Out Radio Show across social media. All the hoodies. You want a hoodie? Hit me up. I'll invoice you. And oh yeah, y'all stay tuned and click on the website too. Get some more traffic going to that.